Greetings, everyone. My name is Yuxing, and oh, oh boy, huh? It it sure has been a while, huh? My apologies for being so inactive for a long time. It has been a rough summer, honestly, but hopefully I can go back on track, since I do have quite a lot to talk about. But before that, we have to deal with something first. While I was on that 7-month hiatus, suddenly I noticed this figure releasing. I saw her in pre-order like a while ago, and now that she was like available, I thought, well, might as well. Now, at first I wasn't convinced to get her, but after thinking for a while, I unfortunately got tagged along on this rabbit hole when it comes to these type of designs. Which, there will be a lot, apparently, and I decided to give her a shot and see if she was worth it. And to give a little bit of a spoiler, I hate her. So, without further ado, let's take a look at SUSHING Sniper Leoni. Now, before looking at the figure itself, I would like to start by saying that this is technically SUSHING's first figure, or at least an articulated one. And if so, surprisingly, it gives out quite more than what other figures might offer. Technically speaking, I paid for my copy at around $110 in total, which, to be fair, it's quite a penny if we compare it to the original price, which was around $50 to $60 depending on the store. But still, I'm amazed right away by just holding the box. And there's a lot to talk about, so bear with me. For starters, before you even open the box, not only you can tell it's a bit chunky, but there's a bit of weight to it, which we'll get to that later. Opening the box, not only do we have the normal tray where the figure and its base accessories are, but there's two additional ones where they are model kit runners? Surprisingly, the sniper that she's supposed to come with has to be built using these runners. And if you're familiar with model kits, you normally have to use this pair of cutters for these type of things. As far as I know, it's not really mandatory to specifically use them, but I'm guessing it's more for convenience. Oh yeah, and if you wonder, yes, we do have instructions, which provides such a cute art of a chibi Leoni. And of course, it has multiple steps like if it was a Lego build. But before trying to even attempt to build up these things, let's take a look at the main attraction. Upon opening the tray, there is this weird debit card looking thing that does have quite a good art for Leoni. But that's not all. If we grab her like stand base and open it, we are received with this cool looking military thing necklace. I'll be honest, I never knew what these were called. But the point is that it's insane Sushin will go this far with the content of this figure in particular. Anyway, finally taking Leoni out of the tray, and here she is in all her smugness glory. And I can't lie, this is actually a great looking figure. The painting and the sculpting of her is really clean and vibrant. I personally love how they did her hair and the curls that she has. And surprisingly, the faces that she comes with are really great looking, almost Figma levels or more. Recently I've been starting to get used to figures with movable eyes like with Snail Shell or Hazuki. So it did surprise me when I realized this one didn't have one of those. Nevertheless, it works well without them. Now, the bunny outfit does look great, and you have to appreciate those details that make it look like an actual leather bunny suit, with some other details here and there. And the contrast of the shiny glossy suit compared to her skin or hair that are more like a matte finish, it's really well done. One section I'm really not a fan of, however, is this division between her chest and the rest of the torso. It kind of feels weird when you move her a bit, and this section is kind of separated from the suit, leaving also a part of their skin kind of disconnected. But I guess if you work it around, it shouldn't be a problem. Another thing I've been noticing while handling her is this small tie. The problem is the slightest bit of movement makes it almost go flying. It is not attached to the figure and it's more of a floating piece. It can be a bit annoying, not gonna lie. Anyway, I think I made my point clear. Despite those two flaws, the figure looks and has a really great style in both paint and sculpt. Honestly, I'm quite shocked at the fact that, again, this might probably be the SUSHING's first figure. It's really good. Anyway, with that said, I hate her. Okay, let me explain this. I don't hate the figure. Far from it. I actually am glad that I got her. But come on, you already know this type of characters. You know, the bratty, smug, I'm above everyone type of character. I cannot tolerate her smugness. You know, sometimes when they are on screen doing these type of faces, the only thing you want to desperately do is put them on their place and... Okay, I'm probably exaggerating things here. I mean, just because she has that face doesn't mean she's a bratty one, right? Oh boy. I would continue jabbing about these type of characters, but we still have a review to do so. Anyway, there's another thing I wanted to point out, which actually was the reason I didn't want to get her in the first place, and it's how her hips are. Now yes, her design is quite odd, having a big head, a slimmer upper torso, and quite a chunky lower body, which is not bad, mind you. I'm not complaining. But my issue here is how limited the articulation appeared to be on her promotional pictures. And unfortunately, that is the case. A bit of a spoiler for later on the video, but if you try to move the legs a bit, you can feel there's a restriction when trying to move it, let's say, upwards. And it's more apparent when you try moving your legs backwards. Man, I appreciate the design, but I truly don't know how to feel about limited articulation, honestly. Now, in fairness, you don't need a ton of articulation to make her look good in several poses, but I don't know. Probably my personal take. It does seem though that the other girls on the line will have the same articulation, but I hope it's a bit better. Another thing to point out though is that despite the limitations, these sections seem to be made of soft plastic, which helps a lot if you want to like slightly force the legs up. But I wouldn't recommend it to force it too much. Now, how about if we move to the sniper, and in that regard, the rest of her accessories? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to record the process of build, but I'll just say right now, it was a lot of fun doing it. And I mean, what can I say? For what it is, it's a really good looking sniper. I did have some issues when building it, where there are still some bits of where I cut the pieces in the runner, but we can think of them as battle marks or something. And one cool feature of the sniper is that you can actually take it apart, put it on this case with actual soft foam inside, and make it seem as if Leoni is building the weapon herself. I do have to point out that when handling the sniper, it definitely feels like it's not really that solid, like these parts can move all around and all, and in some cases, these can slide off the weapon, but it's not that bad if you know how to handle it. Also, we have other stuff to build, like her small pistol and this combat shovel. Cool details, I'm telling you. But now that we're at it, here are the rest of her accessories. As previously mentioned, she has different faceplates, and besides her smug expression, we have a smiling face, what it looks like a confident face, and of course we have an upset face. She has two sets of bunny ears, one where the ears are more like down, and the other ones where they are more open. She has 7-ish sets of hands, holding hands, trigger finger hands, some gesture hands, open hands, some fist, and another set of gesture hands, roaring hands? Huh? The reason I say it's 6 to 7-ish sets of hands is because, and I'm not sure if it's because my copy came with this only, but we also have an extra finger trigger hand and some sort of holding hand. I assume these two are probably more for the holding the sniper rifle primarily, or who knows, maybe I got an extra hand that wasn't supposed to be there. Anywho, she's quite packed as previously mentioned. Not that type of packed, but you know. Even with the basic stuff feels like enough, but I'm still baffled by how much she offers. And what's some cool accessories without some cool articulation, huh? Now, don't get me wrong. Despite my early complaints about her lower half, she's quite possible after playing with her a bit. So, what do we have here? Well, for starters, let's talk about how loose her head, specifically her neck joint, is. I'll probably have to fix this later, but you can see with a few movements, her head goes like all over the place. And on top of that, we still have the small tie that still just doesn't want to get in place, so makes everything just annoying. Anyway, her two hairtails are on a hinge and a swivel. A cool thing, by the way, that I just noticed is how the two bows are their own piece, and you can just like move it around and everything. At least these pieces are not that loose. As we could see with her head moving around, she has a ball joint system on both her head and the neck in both ends. This is how far she can look up and how much she can look down. As also mentioned earlier in the video, she has a single ball joint on her torso. Surprisingly, it gives her quite a nice range when backing up, but unfortunately not much when crunching. Her arms have a sort of butterfly joint with a ball joint and a hinge on the shoulder. There is a swivel on the bicep, double jointed elbows, and a quite limited hinge on the wrist. Once more with her legs, she has a ball joint that once again reaches up this high and not much when backing it up. She has a swivel on her thighs, double jointed knees, which one cool thing that I did not expect is that she has ratchet joints there. That's a first for these type of figures. At least for me though. Her feet have a hinge and a swivel, and surprisingly no pivot? Besides her legs not reaching too far, this is also something that makes me scratch my head. Granted, you can move her actual thigh so she can assimilate a pivot, but it does feel kinda limited. Regardless, even with some subjective aspects that I'm not sure about, she can definitely move. And you can put her in different type of poses as well. To finally conclude this review, let's see how big this girl is. Without her ears, she reaches around the 6 inches. And if we add the open ears, she actually can reach the 7 inches. You go girl. Here is she with the Roman Key Gun Girl, Jessica, Snail Shell's Tokiwa Kasune Commando Girl, Hasuki PA009 Friede, or Friede, something like that, and Mess Toys or City Toys Black Suit Spider-Man. And overall, I don't really regret getting her, far from it. For the value that she originally was, and the amount of stuff you get with her, those small complaints I brought up in the video do feel small in comparison, which does keep me hype for the rest of the girls on the line. Not sure if I'll get them all, but probably a few. She's not perfect, mind you. I still feel off by how limited the hips are, and I know she's not a Roman key figure to have both looks and articulation, but I'll guess I have to just bear with that. But despite all, yeah, she's a good figure. But for what she represents, I hate her. Anyway, thank you so much for passing by. I'll try my hardest to keep being alive, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Hopefully. Good night, fellow collectors.